Good morning. It's stability shoe showdown day and it's really cold. It's like 30 degrees, feels like 20 something. So at least it's not that windy right now, but we'll see as this progresses here. So I'm about to wear 6 pairs of stability shoes. I'm starting with the Saucony Guide 14s. Then I'm going to do the Guide 15, the Tempus, the Gel Kayano 29, the Asics GT-2000 11. So 1 mile done in the Guide 14s, and I have to say these are actually a little bit better than I remember. I've had these ones for probably over a year, but I think I have like 26 miles on them because I just never wanted to wear them. They're just not the most comfortable shoe. They're not giving you a ton of energy return. At the time I wasn't really using stability shoes, so I wasn't kind of used to the way that they feel. These ones also, interesting with Saucony, I'm usually a 12.5 in Saucony. These ones are 12.5 and they're really big on me. So in this model, I really need a 12. So I actually got the Guide 15 in a 12. So that's the next shoe that I'm gonna use. But this has the original Power Run foam. It's a very firm foam. It doesn't give you a lot of bounce. It doesn't give you a lot of squish. The shoe is definitely stable. The upper itself is pretty plush. So it's like kind of comfortable, kind of stiff, but it's really not an exciting shoe to run in. That's kind of the case with a lot of stability shoes. They tend to be a little bit heavier, a little bit stiffer. Although this felt a little bit softer than I remember, so I won't just completely knock them right now, but I also remember when I first put on the Guide 15s, what a noticeable difference it was. So we'll see if that feeling continues when I try them again right now. Immediately a huge difference stepping into the Guide 15. These, I can immediately feel that the Power Run foam has been softened up. It's a little softer, it's a little bouncier. The upper itself is much more narrow in the toe box, which is actually good for me because I have more of a normal to narrow volume foot. But the fit is much better. Again, these ones are a 12 instead of a 12.5. So these have more of like a racing fit. They feel a lot lighter, a lot bouncier just when walking here. So now let's get this mile done and see how they compare. Okay, so let me know in the comments if anybody wants a slightly used pair of Guide 14s. Holy crap, this is like such a huge difference between these two shoes. I can't believe that they are the same version of something. It feels like a different shoe from a different manufacturer. I was just watching a bunch of Christmas movies with my kids, and recently watched Elf, the Will Ferrell Christmas movie. And right now I feel like him when he found out that the clausometer has dropped all the way to 0 because there's no Christmas spirit. That's shocking. The difference between these shoes is shocking. It's like these have been taking Ozempic and they lost 100 pounds out of nowhere. You know, you saw this person and then a couple of weeks later you're like, how'd you do that? This shoe is like, it took the Ozempic, it hired a personal trainer, took some HGH, and just downed 5 Red Bulls and did that run. So over the same mile there, I believe I shaved over 30 seconds off my time. And I'm not trying to run hard right now. I'm just running like the comfortable fit pace that it feels like the shoe wants to run. So the first shoe didn't want to run that fast. These ones, wow, they feel so much lighter. I got to compare the actual weights. Incredibly lighter, incredibly bouncier, much more nimble, much tighter fit. These really feel like a tempo shoe. If you didn't tell me they were a stability shoe, I'd have no way to tell you that. They just feel like a bouncy, well-fitting, fast shoe. I thought I was wearing something similar to the Endorphin Speeds wearing these. So good job, Saucony. What an upgrade. Jeez. I really can't believe the difference in feel between those two shoes. All right, so now we're moving on to the Saucony Tempest. And I think what I kind of unintentionally did here was line these shoes up in the progression of stability shoes. That Guide 14 being more the traditional stability shoe with that big plastic piece, feeling more heavy, more stiff, less lively, less fun. The Guide 15 really upping it a notch. And then the Tempest, this shoe actually has Saucony's top tier racing foam in it, the Power Run PB, and it kind of has a carrier foam that wraps around it to give it the stability. So it's considered more of a light stability shoe, that it's doing something to help with that overpronation. But the upper itself is much more similar to what you find in like the Endorphin Speed. It's a thin perforated upper. The shoe's very light, and it has that excellent bouncy foam and less of a substantial outsole. So this is really probably a great option for anybody who needs a stability shoe that you want to use for racing. This is probably one of the best options out there as a stability shoe that you can run fast in. So we'll see how this feels over this mile, but I'm expecting it to match up to the Guide or exceed it. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so those last two shoes officially turned this into a tempo run that I wasn't planning on doing today, but man, do they feel good and make you want to pick up that pace. These shoes feel a little bit taller. They feel a little bit bouncier. I'll actually see what the stack heights are. I can feel that little more height in the heel. It feels like a higher drop. But the Power Run PB, the Guide 15 is a little bit more squishy. These are a little bit more bouncy. You get a little bit more bounce. They're more cruisy, but again, so lightweight. It's really easy to turn over your stride and pick up the cadence. Both of those miles that I just ran were a little bit under 7 minutes. I'll have to see the exact time. But if the last shoe was like someone that needed to lose a few pounds, took some Ozempic and chugged a bunch of Red Bulls, I feel like this one is someone who was already in shape and then started running. So say they were a CrossFit athlete where they are strong, they have some cardio, and then they put on a shoe and they're like, oh, it's hard to run under a 7-minute mile. I thought everyone could do that. So that's what these ones kind of feel like. They're kind of effortless in the way that they deliver that speed. They're not as explosive as a race shoe. There's not a plate in there, but it was very easy to hold that faster pace in these. It's very rewarding. You get that nice bounciness from the foam in these. And again, like the last shoe, it's a stability shoe, but if no one told you that, you would never know it. These ones don't have a big plastic piece in them at all. They just reworked the foam geometry in the midsole there to make them a little bit more stable. So these do kind of feel like just basically a more stable Endorphin Speed, which is a really good thing because that's one of the best shoes that there is out there. So Saucony Tempest is probably the epitome of a stability shoe. So bravo to Saucony, we're moving in the right direction here. Although I feel like the next two shoes are completely different than the last two shoes. I have the Gel Kayano 29 and the GT-2000 11. Those shoes are more your traditional stability shoes. They're bulkier, they're heavier, they have very plush padded uppers, so those are more designed for those easy runs, recovery runs. I don't think I'm going to be running the paces I just ran in those last two shoes in the next two shoes to close this out, but those also have their place as well. I did a review of the Kayano 29 recently, and that's a great long run shoe. It's a great daily shoe, but it no way has the explosiveness and the pace of these last two. So up next is the Asics Gel Kayano 29, and these are really the most plush kind of comfy shoes of this group. They have a really thick padded tongue. They have a built-up heel collar that's very padded as well. So these are definitely on the heavy side as far as the shoes in this group go, but they're really using all that weight for comfort. The upper is kind of like a sweater material or sweatshirt. Not very breathable, but that's good for now because it's cold. They have a really built-up, durable outsole as well. These have Flight Foam Blast Plus foam in the forefoot, which is Asics softer, bouncier foam that they put in the Nova Blast, and then they have a stiffer foam in the heel. They call that system Light Truss, and that's basically what gives you the stability in the heel to prevent that overpronation. So I've already done a review of these shoes. I find them to be a really comfortable cruiser, good for easy days, very smooth, but I'm no way going to be picking up the pace in these like I just did in the last two. So we'll see how this run goes. Well, all right, Kayano 29, you did better than I thought you would. Did a 7:15 mile there. So definitely slower than the last couple shoes, but that's probably the fastest mile that I've run in these so far. And again, just trying to kind of cruise along at a little bit faster than easy pace. It's probably helping me that I'm getting a little bit of a rest between these reps where I'm getting home, changing my shoes, and getting back out here. But these ones, definitely you can feel the weight of them. They're definitely the heaviest of the shoes I've used so far, but they have a nice rocker to them. They have a nice roll. The Flight Foam Blast Plus definitely has some squish and some bounce to it. So when you land in that forefoot area, you get some nice compression. And I think the firmer foam in the heel and the higher drop of these shoes, if you engage the heel in the landing, it's a nice, firm, stable landing. Rolls you to that midfoot where it kind of squishes in a little bit and gives you some nice energy return. So this is a very smooth, comfortable shoe. Obviously, I'm not going to use it for tempo runs or racing, but for like a daily trainer, an easy day shoe, it's a really good option. All right, I finally made it to the last shoe here. So this is the Asics GT-2000 11. So this one's kind of like the little brother of the Kayano 29. It has the regular Flight Foam Blast foam in the forefoot instead of the Blast Plus. So it's the slightly less premium, less bouncy foam. This shoe doesn't have the plastic piece that wraps around the back that the Kayano 29 has. So this is kind of supposed to be like a lighter version, but I think what's actually kind of funny, I think I weighed these before and these actually weigh a little bit more than the Kayano, probably because the Flight Foam Blast is heavier than the Blast Plus. These ones are also in Gore-Tex, so the upper is a little bit more substantial. I actually got these ones because I really liked the Kayano 29 and I was looking for a shoe that I could use for winter running. So these kind of fit that bill because they're basically like a Kayano 29 but with Gore-Tex and a little bit different foam, but the layout of them is exactly the same. They both have that stronger, heavier foam in the heel with the Light Truss system, so they're a very, very similar shoe. I'll give a shout out to two of my running friends, Rich and Tom. The last time I wore these shoes, we went on a trail run actually, so these have decent grip that's good for a trail as well. We were supposed to run 8 miles in a loop, but got lost and ended up running 12. So we made it home, but a pro tip, if you don't know where you're going, someone bring a phone so you can make sure you find your way back home. So we'll see how these shoes do today. So that last mile was a 7:26. I was definitely starting to feel a little bit tired. So I guess today's a tempo run. Was not going easy pace for really any of those miles. A little bit faster than easy pace the first mile, and then kind of tempo paces the rest of the way. So comparing these to the Kayano 29, they're almost the same shoe, where the Guide 14 and 15 are so different. This one and the Kayano are almost identical. They have basically the same upper, basically the same midsole, outsole, tread design. The difference is the foam in the forefoot. These ones have the regular Flight Foam Blast, and the Kayanos have the Blast Plus. So the Blast Plus is noticeably more squishy than the regular Flight Foam Blast. This shoe feels more firm, so it actually feels a little bit more like you could be more up tempo in it because it's a little bit firmer. It doesn't compress as much. But the Kayano 29 has more energy return, and it's a little bit more comfortable. So these are two, they definitely feel the most stable. You have the best lockdown in these two shoes out of the whole group. They have a really sturdy heel counter, lots of padding in the tongue and the heel around the top of the heel counter. So you get a really good lockdown, very stable. Not as fast just because of the weight, but again, two really solid shoes overall.
Well, I think I said pretty much everything I need to say about these shoes in the review portion of this, so I'm just kind of going to summarize it now. So we have the Guide 14. This is the shoe that I like the least out of all these. This is one that I probably will not use again because the 15 is so much better. There's no reason for me to use this one. I did a 7:31 mile in this shoe. It has a full rubber coverage. It's not as flexible. The Guide 15 actually has a little bit more stack. The foam itself is softer and bouncier. It feels more nimble. It feels faster. It's more flexible. It's just superior to this shoe in every way. So we can just get rid of this one. Then we have the Saucony Tempest. Well, actually, going in order, this shoe, I ran a 6:58 mile in it. It just felt great. Going from the 14 to the 15, this one really let me pick up the pace. It has more of a thin kind of toe box, so if you have a wider foot, this might not be as good of a fit. But for me, with a more of a narrow foot, this fits me great. And this can definitely handle slower runs as well as up-tempo runs. So this is a much more versatile shoe than the Guide 14. With the Saucony Tempest, this one kind of takes it up to 11. This one has the Power Run PB foam in there. It also has pretty good grip there on the outsole. It's going to be durable rubber, has a nice wide forefoot and heel. This maintains the stability by utilizing this foam that kind of wraps around the Power Run PB to stabilize the foam. Very lightweight, very breathable shoe. This really feels more like a tempo shoe. You can use this for up-tempo runs as well as daily runs. I ran the fastest mile in the Tempest. I did this one in 6 minutes and 53 seconds. And after that, I followed it up with the Asics Gel Kayano 29. Shoe's much heavier, but this is really designed to be more of a durable daily shoe as opposed to a tempo shoe. It's a very padded tongue, very padded in the heel collar, very sturdy there as well. This shoe has Asics Flight Foam Blast Plus in the forefoot here. This goes all the way back. And then there's the firmer foam at the bottom here as well as the gel. And if you turn around to the other side, you can see here, this is the softer foam, the firmer foam, and it also has a plastic piece here for more stability in the heel. This is one of the firmest, stiffest heel counters I think I've ever encountered in a shoe. So once you get your foot in here, it's tucked into the padded part here. There's the padded part here. Your heel is going nowhere. This might have the best lockdown of any shoe. And then the fact that it has all this stiffness back here means you're getting very stable landings, and it's kind of rolling you to that midfoot where this foam wants to sink in more and give you a little bit more pop back. The GT-2000 is very similar to the Kayano 29. This also has those 2 layers of foam here. This has the stiffer foam in the back, also has the light truss system, but this one has regular Flight Foam Blast. That's a tongue twister, as I mess it up twice. The black foam here is the Flight Foam Blast, and then there's the firmer foam in the bottom. This also has gel in the heel, It also has that firm heel counter, the same padding, the same tongue. So both of these shoes have great lockdown. This one though ends up being actually a little bit more heavy because the Flight Foam Blast Foam is a little heavier than the Blast Plus. This one also has the Gore-Tex upper, so I got this for winter running so it can run in the wet. So that's also adds to the weight a little bit, and it's also restricts the breathability somewhat, but that's what I bought this shoe for because I'm going to use these two shoes a lot for running miles in the winter. Also has a full rubber coverage. There's AHAR Plus in the heel here. I think both of these shoes are going to be super durable. They are durable tanks, basically. A lot of rubber on there. Comfortable and durable. So the winner of this comparison is very clearly the Saucony Tempest. This has the most versatility of any of the shoes here. You can run fast in it, you can run slow in it. It's comfortable, it's bouncy, it's breathable. It's just a very good shoe overall. Even if you don't need a stability shoe, this is just a stable daily trainer that you could use. The Guide 15 really impressed me as well, and you can get this shoe for very inexpensive now, less than 50% at a lot of places online. So if you're interested in trying out a stability shoe, this is another one that's more of kind of just like a daily trainer that gives you a little bit extra stability, but it's lightweight and still feels responsive and snappy and at a really good price. Then the two Asics shoes are both very good as well, but these are definitely a lot more heavy. You're not going to be really wanting to pick up the pace for tempo runs with these ones, but for long runs and easy runs, these are going to be two very durable shoes that I'm going to use for a lot of those colder winter miles where I'm running in stability and safety with that grip that I'm getting from these. That's all that I have for today. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.